Hello, my wandering soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Please take a seat and get comfortable. The energy for today's reading is a doorway into the month ahead. With it may come an invitation, maybe an opportunity, or a call to simply do what you're inspired to do most this month. Regardless, I feel that there is wisdom within you that will reveal itself in today's monthly messages and within the cards that will guide you forward and inspire your path ahead. Having said that, remember that the cards I draw are not about telling the future or giving you instruction. They are here to offer you a fresh perspective and remind you of the power that you already carry within you to shape your future. If today's message doesn't feel like yours, it may be for another traveler, or it may reveal itself when you return on a different day. Please use your discernment, take what resonates, leaving the rest behind for someone else. Because I had a feeling you'd be stopping by, I've prepared 3 piles for you to choose from today. Before choosing, take a few deep breaths, settle in, and set an intention for what you would like to receive today that will serve you for your highest good. And when you are ready, follow your intuition to the pile that calls to you. You'll find the timestamps in the description box. However, if you would like a close-up of the piles today, let me do that for you right now to make your choice a little bit easier. For Soul Path 1, we have the Mermaid. For Soul Path 2, we have the River. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Elders. So when you feel called, look for the timestamp for your soul path in the description box, and I look forward to connecting with you in your reading. Hello, my Soul Path 1. You chose the Mermaid. There's something here about a call to adventure, and it is an invitation. Interesting that fell out of my hand and it spun around, so I feel like it might come out of the blue. It might be a surprise, it might be unexpected. It may not be what you expect either. So I'm getting for some of you, this could be an invitation to go somewhere, to do something that isn't necessarily a vacation or going somewhere, but a call to do something different, to dive deeper possibly in a subject matter, in a specific scenario, maybe deepening a friendship, a relationship in a new way. Something here feels very magical, ethereal, something intangible that maybe you can't quite name. And this may transform you in a way that you did not expect. So not only is the invitation or the opportunity unexpected, it will transform you in unexpected ways. So there is a feeling of saying yes to this thing if you feel called. This feels like it might be an exciting adventure, but it also may bring up a lot of fear because it requires you to step into the unknown. I'm getting a lot of Fool energy with this, so there's a slight chance that risk is involved. And it's not risk that will put you in harm's way or danger, but definitely use your discernment there. This feels like it requires a risk in doing something different, in possibly leaving the shoreline behind, to be able to explore something new, new terrain, new territory. that you've never explored before. And it requires you and will require you to develop a skill or call upon a skill that you have not used before. Definitely change of landscape, change of scenery. There may be some chaos or some kind of frenzy. It might be quite disruptive, this new adventure. So let's see what the month of October has in store for you. The energies at play for the month of October. For Soul Path 1, please. The Fool card. It's your first card out. So that just confirms exactly what we were talking about. Let's get a couple cards out, more cards out to see what else. Sorry, my train of thought was interrupted. So there could be a delay in making this decision. But once you make the decision, I feel that it's going to happen quite quickly for you. But there's a lot of indecision here. The Ace of Swords is at the bottom of the deck, in reverse. We have the Fool card that came out on its side, more reversed than not. So the energy is possibly not quite activated for you in the month of October. It's something that maybe you're thinking about quite a lot. There is a lot of sword energy here, so I feel that there is a lot going on in the mind. There could be some inner tension. There could be some conflict that you have to navigate with this decision that you're making, with this adventure that I feel you're being invited to go on. And this Knight of Swords is a very adventurous card. In and of itself, it almost feels a little dangerous, where there's speed involved. But not only that, it's a motorcycle, which is a different mode of transportation than your usual vehicle. This person is also not wearing a helmet, so there's an element of risk here. And an element of risk may prompt people to offer opinions and advice that you may or may not want to hear, that you may or may not want to consider. But let's just start with the Fool card. This is somebody who has a free spirit, that has a sense of adventure, that has an open-heartedness about whatever's to come. They will deal with whatever happens, whatever is in store for them. They are leaping off the sturdy foundations of which they have stood in the past, and they are leaping into the unknown, which feels magical, but also scary. And with them, they're only taking what they need, leaving behind the things that will hold them back and hold them down on this new adventure. So there is an opportunity in the month of October for you to do something new. I don't know what that is, but there is some resistance, possibly a lack of clarity about how to move forward with this. There could be a lot of decision making within the mind. Do I? Don't I? Weighing all the options, having conversations with people, possibly even yourself, and not really sure if this is the correct decision for you. I feel like you feel it is correct for you, is the feeling that I'm getting, which is why I feel you are going to step into an adventure of sorts in the month of October. And I will say that hopefully it is not dangerous for you, physically dangerous, emotionally, spiritually, energetically dangerous. I do feel there is discernment that is required, though. I feel that the pause, your thoughts being interrupted, is okay. The conversations are okay to have because they are important to help clarify the decision, the opportunity, the invitation a little bit more. It helps you ensure your safety in this, to protect your journey, protect you on this journey, to ensure that whatever this adventure is not taken lightly, is not being acted upon in an impulsive way or in a way that is going to compromise your well-being, your mental health, your stability. So I do feel that it is important for you to pause before taking action so that you can get a little more clarity in the resistance, in the tension of not knowing, in the tension that maybe others will offer you. I don't see that as a bad thing, although it may be uncomfortable for some people to accept. But this is your journey. This is your path. You have to walk it as you see fit. So I will get some clarifiers for you to help you navigate this. And I will pull from the same deck. And then we will get an oracle card to end your reading. So let's get 3 more. We have the Judgment card in reverse. 2 more. So we have the 8 of Pentacles in the upright at the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Page of Wands in reverse. You have the High Priestess in the reverse and the Ace of Cups in the upright. This is a journey that I feel you have resisted for a long time. This is an invitation that maybe you ignored. Maybe you tried to put aside. Maybe you tried to deny its existence. And maybe that created some inner tension for you. Maybe that created a sense of fogginess about how to make a decision from this place of restriction or limitation. And with the Judgment card in reverse, paired with the Fool, this feels like a breaking out or a breaking away from restriction, opening yourself up. But with the Judgment card being Plutonian, there is a revisitation of patterns and behaviors that I feel is needed first. Maybe there's a sense of reclaiming power or re-identification is what I'm hearing. So there's a recalibration happening before this journey can begin. And I don't feel that you know what that looks like yet, because you haven't walked the path. You haven't gathered the information based on experience yet, based on what this path is here to teach you, what this invitation or opportunity is here to teach you. So there could be some scattered energy that comes with this and an unknown of what it is you're trying to create or build, what it is you're trying to achieve, what is your mission and purpose. This feels like a soul search. So it has nothing to do I don't feel it has anything to do with career specifically, relationships specifically. This is about you, how you identify yourself, what you are in search for. I feel a puzzle piece you're trying to find. You're trying to complete the picture within your mind. And so this invitation is an exploration into that, a breaking away from the old patterns, the old you, the old ways of functioning or processing, so that you can test those boundaries, you can test those limits. You can even test what you're made of, is what I'm hearing. I will say that in this, it will be important for you to also listen to your intuition, to not just look at what feels good, because change and growth may not necessarily feel good, and that's okay. Allow things to be a little uncomfortable. But ultimately, it comes down to trusting your intuition and honing that in this process. I feel you haven't trusted it enough in the past, which has maybe created an identity that you don't really resonate with, or maybe created a path for yourself that you no longer align with. So in this search of figuring things out, honing your intuition, trusting your intuition will be an important aspect of this. Having compassion for self, trusting your wisdom, trusting what you are learning, opening yourself up to the lessons that await. To not fear what is next, because I feel that you are someone who can work through anything, who can figure anything out, and is dedicated to their path, to themselves, to whatever they put their heart into, so that they can see themselves through till the end. So let's get a couple of cards to end your reading. Watching clouds, lie back, rest, and relax. There could be some anxiety in the month of October as you contemplate, as you navigate the energies here. Remember that this isn't a journey to do rapidly. This isn't something that you need to get to the destination of quickly. There may be a pressure or a sense of doing that, so maybe you can relieve that anxiety that you might have to know that you're on the right path, but it's about enjoying the journey, not about getting to the destination to prove to yourself that this is correct or to prove to others that this was the right move for you. This is about trusting in the process, trusting in your inner knowing, to move through this journey mindfully and intentionally, taking rest stops along the way so that you don't bypass anything that might prove to be important to you along the way. Taking shelter, the answers are within. So again, we have another somewhat of a restful energy here about taking shelter, watching clouds. Rest stop is what I'm getting. So taking the time to pause along the way will be important, and remembering that the answers you seek may not be in the external. And this is looping back to the opening messages where this journey or adventure that you're on will be unexpected, not only in the journey itself or the invitation itself, but in how it transforms you. And I think you're going to realize that what you were seeking in the external was within you the entire time. So whether this all happens in October, I'm not sure. Whether it starts taking place in October, I feel it's going to be unique for everyone. But I feel by late winter, there will be an energy of settling down, where things have become a little more still, a little more quiet, a little more peaceful. And I feel like you'll find more comfort from within, maybe even your environment. But there's definitely a lesser feeling of anxiety as you move along, as you move towards the winter months. So it seems like you're up for an interesting and possibly incredible journey. If you're on one or you're starting one, I wish you nothing but the best. So these are the messages I have for you, my dear Soul Path One. Thank you for visiting and sharing your story with me. It was such a pleasure, and I wish you luck on your path ahead. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, my Soul Path 2. Welcome in. You chose the river. And when I look at this card, I believe the song is by Collective Soul. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's called Where the River Flows, or To Where the River Flows. That might be a significance to someone, but I'm hearing it within my mind. There just feels like an ease. This may be guidance to go with the flow in the month of October, to surrender to where you're being led, to enjoy the scenery as you move. This might be difficult because you want to have an oar to be able to move you down this riverway. But I feel for some of you, you don't have one, so you're rapidly trying to use your hands to control where you're being led, how fast or slowly you go. And I feel that there's a call to release the control so that you can feel more at ease. Because I almost feel that as much control as you try to ascertain over a situation, it may even create more resistance and more tension, maybe even further delays. So it's allowing the energy to move so as to not restrict movement. And also, I'm seeing the leaf at the forefront of this card. And I'm seeing its journey from being vibrant, green, on the branch of a tree. And as the seasons turn, it loses its color, it loses its moisture, and breaks off from the branch that it called home. It slowly descends towards the ground and lightly touches the surface of the river. And while it might be sad that it now has a new home, or maybe doesn't know where the new home is going to be, there's an allowance, an acceptance of what is, so that you can be carried to where you're being led next with an open heart, with an open mind. The openness will allow you to absorb the beauty that is around you, to even see new opportunities or new sights that you've never seen before. There are surprises here for you, but it requires you to welcome change, to welcome transformation, and to know that you will be guided through and around the obstacles that are ahead. So, let us grab some tarot cards now. For Soul Path 2. Feel free to comment below if any of the messages are resonating with you, and if you'd like to share your story at all. So for Soul Path 2, could we get energies for their month of October, please? Page of Swords. Queen of Pentacles. There's some things that are hidden here that I feel won't be revealed until later in the month, or even as you open yourself up to learn something new here. There's a lot to do with nurturing yourself in the month of October, nurturing ideas, nurturing your environment, your physical body, maybe someone else that is around you, possibly mothering yourself to a certain degree. And that might be something that you are learning to do. There's a lot of divine feminine energy here as it relates to the Queen and the Empress. And the river is about flow. It is about receiving what is to come in the most loving, open, and welcome way. We have a page here. Pages are also very open to receive information, receive lessons without judgment, to be open to a new process, a new thought, new ideas. So the biggest message I feel, the biggest theme for you I feel in the month of October is expansion through openness. And I feel that might be a challenging thing, because it feels like you're starting over to a certain degree. It feels like you're brand new at something, and that might be frustrating for you. But I feel that where you've come from, you reached your peak, and you needed to open up to be able to expand and grow into something new. You could not see that growth in where you were, attached to that tree, metaphorically speaking. So now you've started a new journey. You've broken away from what's familiar, from what's known, and the expansion begins. You are the leaf that is changing form, that is changing shape, that is being carried. So the question is, how will you navigate that? How will you welcome it or resist it? How will you release? How will you let go? And how will you perceive new opportunities in this space. I do feel there are new things being seeded here. Again, new thoughts, new ideas, new paths of learning that may not be obvious. But there's something about a new seed or multiple seeds being planted here, the ground that you have been nurturing, or maybe that you will nurture in the month of October. This will create the fertile soil to create something new. There's a sense of patience that's required with that, and a dedication to put in the work to create the change that you would like to see, to forge a new pathway, to open new doors. So you're moving from a space of restriction and possible lack towards abundance. And that birthing process, that seeding process, can be painful. And even the seed itself, when we think of a seed, it is encapsulated in a shell. And when it's planted, it is dark, it is damp, and you feel buried. You cannot see the light. This feels like a challenge that you'll never break through, and that this darkness is all you will know. But there comes a day where things warm up and the shell cracks open. I feel that you are starting to crack open. And this is part of this process. If you have been feeling like you've been in the dark, understand that this is your rebirth, and that the light will come through once again. It may take time, but it will happen. Let's get some clarifiers and or cards on how to navigate this. We have the Six of Cups. We have the Temperance in reverse. And we have the World. Beautiful. With the Ace of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So, we just talked about being buried. But really, you are being planted in this space. Something hasn't taken shape yet. It is just at its beginning stages. And I feel you've had to learn something about yourself based on the past. Maybe this is something that is being relieved or released at this time, is maybe emotional attachments you have from your past. Maybe you're bringing back something from your past to re-energize it. But the past seems to have a significant influence in this. And so there's almost a recreation based on what you're learning about who you were, based on maybe where you grew up or how you grew up, the stories that you carried, the beliefs that you carried. Maybe those are taking new shapes and new forms. Maybe there's certain things that have reached their peak that no longer align, that have worn out their welcome. Now, this could have the potential to throw you off. As we mentioned, being in a dark place, it can be emotional, it can be unsettling, it can be uncomfortable when we are being pulled away from the familiar, from the known, into the unknown, into the new that we are not quite familiar with, that we don't know what's going to fill the void, to fill the space. All we see is darkness and dirt. We don't see the potential yet. And I think you are being shown the potential, or the seeds are being planted for that potential in the month of October. And to help you manage this, it's important to alchemize this experience into something that feels peaceful, that feels balanced, that you can turn into gold in some way. Because as I mentioned, this may not be a situation that you can control as much as you try. So how can you come back to what you can control? And that is how you perceive the situation, how you navigate the choices that you make in that situation. Some healing may be involved in this, because that is alchemy. When we take something possibly from our past and we look at it without judgment and in a new light, we can change the form, we can change the story and rewrite the story. And maybe that's what you're doing here. You're closing out a major cycle, and that requires you to let go of the stories that are no longer a part of who you are and who you want to become. Maybe the people or the environments or the situation. I feel that's why there's so much new learning energy here, because you're not only learning new things about yourself or about your past, but you're rewriting something. You're communicating something differently. You're manifesting something in a new way, from a new space, from a new energy. And that alchemy is going to be important in that, so that you find the balance between the dark and the light, between the difficult circumstances and the potential for what could be planted in this place. And I feel there is potential for a ton of growth here. There's so much expansion that I feel is waiting to be revealed, but the groundwork has to be laid first. So I feel the month of October is that groundwork. But I do feel first and foremost, you have to start with an open mind. And this, I feel, is bringing you into freedom, bringing you into peace, peace with whatever you might be struggling with, whatever you might be challenged by, and to bring your focus from that into nurturing something new and helpful and possibly more aligned, more grounded. So let's get a couple of cards to end your reading. Soul Path 2. Take your time. This is the darkness that I was sensing, where you don't know where you're going. You just know that you need to go. You just know or have a feeling that whatever's happening in this moment, while it may feel uncomfortable because you can't see the bigger picture, there's a clearing that's happening in this space. So don't rush this process. And I do feel moments of solitude, taking your time for the things that make you feel nurtured, cared for, safe, comforted. And again, mothering yourself is coming through here. But also finding silence amid the possible chaos, especially when you're feeling ungrounded or imbalanced in any way, because you are crossing some kind of bridge here, moving through troubled waters. It's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. So I feel that is the underlying energy that's going on here. The fog is to help you slow down, to learn something new, to nurture something, to release, to heal, so that you can till the soil, to add nutrients to the soil, fertilizer to the soil, so that new things can be planted in its place. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. Thank you so much for visiting and sharing your story with me. It was such a pleasure, and I wish you luck on your path ahead. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome in. You chose the elders. There is a cycle of death and rebirth here. That seems to be a big theme for the month of October for many, where new seeds are being planted, seeds are being cracked open, new identities are being formed. There is death and rebirth happening on a number of levels, transformation. And I feel like there is some knowledge that you are gaining in this process. Maybe you're leaning on elders within your community, within your family, to understand this cycle, to understand its place in nature. Maybe there are certain things that you are letting go of, things that you are welcoming in. And I feel that there are some that fear this experience of letting go of the familiar. But understand that this creates wisdom within you. It helps you reveal what you could not see. And this is how you become an elder, is through these experiences of letting go when it's difficult, of allowing things to pass, to fall away, even if we don't want them to have gratitude for it having a presence in our life to begin with, and the time and the space that it took up in our life while it was still here, the beauty that it created, the connection and the bond that it created, and know that that bond is eternal. It will never break. It just changes form. Some of you, I feel, are quite literally dealing with death, mortality, and this is really challenging. Others of you, I feel, there are karmic ties being broken. There's a heaviness in my heart. Maybe some of you are or have lost elders. I just need to breathe for a sec, because this is a difficult energy. Losing people we love is hard, and hard does not describe the feeling of that loss. But without death and rebirth, there is no nature, there is no life. And it is in that death, it is in the decay that new life can form. That is life itself. The rebirth is life itself. So let's grab some cards for Soul Path 3 for the energy of October, please. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Five of Pentacles. Nine of Cups. With the Eight of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. There's definitely a difficulty here that you are navigating. It feels very isolating. The joy of life has vacated, has become absent here. This could be due to an illness, whether it's an illness that you have navigated or an illness that you have witnessed in someone else. Financial difficulty could also be something, as well as instability within the home. October brings an energy of challenge and change. I feel like it's reprioritizing things for you. And this is somewhat of a silver lining. It is helping you let go of what is no longer important to you. It is helping you reprioritize where you put your energy and what you feel joy in. So the things that once felt good or had importance to you no longer feels inspiring. To some, this may feel uncomfortable because you are moving away from something that felt very joyful at one point, felt very purposeful at one point, you felt very clear about at one point. And now you feel like you're left wandering, lost, questioning everything. You're in a fog, maybe reactive or feeling cold, maybe feeling like others are rejecting you in some way. And so you're having a difficult time finding the pleasure of life, finding pleasure in hobbies, friendships, but even in yourself as well, which is especially difficult. You may put a pause on a lot of the things that you have so ambitiously chased in the past. I believe in my heart of hearts for you that as challenging as this energy is in the month of October, I do see a silver lining. You may not see it, but I do. I feel like this is stripping you down to your core values, your core beliefs, so that you can see them out in the open. You can see them in the palm of your hands, and you can objectively look at them to understand them, not necessarily to identify them, especially if you are starting to feel there are certain things you no longer want to identify with, or stories, feelings of self-worth, feelings of value, self-value, how you value yourself, how you value your time. And there is an apathy that comes with that. There is a disappointment that comes with that, but that is where the awakening happens. That is where you can decide, how do I want to change that moving forward? What is it that I want to prioritize in my life? How do I want to rewrite this narrative so that I no longer see myself in that light or feel this way? Now, that may not be a quick change. I feel like it is a practice. It is something that you have to actively participate in and be aware of, so that you can intentionally make changes towards what it is you would like to move towards. I think the month of October is going to be you questioning a lot more than you are taking action on anything. October feels like a great pause, a grand pause. And it is an important pause. It is a wintering season for you. And in winter, everything is still. Everything is silent. Everything rests because it is not ready to take shape or form yet. The land must rest. And so I feel you must too. October is not a month to push forward, but to move through the energy day by day, to seek help. I believe help is very shortly around the corner for you, so I don't feel you're going to be in this state very long. But I do feel that it is an important turning point for you. It is a redirection. So we have the King and Queen of Swords. This could have something to do with a masculine energy and a feminine energy in your life that you may have broken away from, or are breaking away from, or having difficulty in relationship with. This could simply be that you don't have the information you thought you did. You're no longer clear about what you want to do, or where you want to go, or what decisions to make next. So how can you strategize or think? How can you find the answers? I feel you're trying to find the answers, but October isn't a month to search for the answers. It's a moment to self-reflect. It is a moment to be with the emotions, the thoughts that come through, to not judge them, but to acknowledge them and ask, what do you have to share with me? What wisdom do you have to share with me? Maybe your mental health, it's too many cards, needs to be a priority at this time so that you can be mentally strong to pull yourself out. Let's get one more card, please. I'm hearing it's a great, no, it's not a great reset, it's the great reset. Beautiful. Okay. So we have the King of Swords in reverse, we have the Four of Swords in the upright, and the Queen of Wands in the upright, with the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. There's definitely loss that you're experiencing. So this Five of Cups to me is just an acknowledgement that there's challenge both in the physical realm and the emotional realm, and that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to grieve what is being let go of at this time, what has passed, what is no longer, to honor whatever that is, to create space to move through that energy and that experience. And I feel that is why the month of October is, I can't remember what I said. Was it I said a lot. Grand. I said grand multiple times. It's the grand reset. Was it the grand redirection? It is a time to pause. It is a time to reflect. It is a time to feel and to not question, to not try to put the water from the spilled glasses back into the cup, but to accept. And so I feel like you are encouraged to spend some time doing that. And the Four of Swords is also creating space to just be for a while, to not take action, to not think about the next step, but to allow the energy to carry you day by day, to offer yourself moments of rest and respite, safety and healing, to recover from whatever loss that you have moved through, and that it's okay to give yourself time and space to do that. Now, for those who can't actively and who don't have the luxury to take physical time off for that, this is about finding the moments to do that. And to find supportive communities to possibly help you process this. And I feel that there, at the end of October, there are certain maybe illusions or maybe joys or passions that you once connected with that will fall away. But something new is going to replace all of those things that you may have lost along the way. I feel like your energy is being revigorated, re-energized, restored through the process of moving through this challenge face on. And you accepting the loss of whatever has been and can no longer be. You're welcoming something new in that space, new opportunity, new inspiration, new courage, new motivation. But it doesn't come from a place of force. It doesn't come from a place of divine ambition. It comes from a place of acceptance, allowance, and welcoming. It comes from a place of inspired action when the time comes, when you feel ready to, when you feel inspired to. And that's not, again, done by force. It's done in the space of peace, of safety. But that may not come until something difficult has been moved through in its own timing, in its own way. So let's get a couple of cards to end your reading. My apologies and condolences for whatever loss you have experienced. It's not easy, but you're not alone, and you will get through this. Valiant courage. That's the Queen of Wands. So that is a very strong energy coming through for you. I think you will find that energy later on in the month. And solitude, in silence, peace prevails. So I do believe finding solitude, finding respite, finding moments of quiet will be important for this process. Reaching your destination, your light is shining brightly. This moment in your life is not something to fear, but is simply something to navigate and to honor, because it is part of life, it's a part of nature, and it prevents stagnancy. It contributes to our growth as much as we don't want it to. But I feel this is igniting something within you. Once all of the emotions have been moved through and the difficulty has been overcome, I feel that you will be tapped into something far greater than you have been up until this point. And it may even move you to a destination, an unknown destination is what I'm hearing. You may even feel lighter and brighter on the other side of this. And that doesn't mean that you don't miss the person or that you aren't honoring whoever or whatever this loss has been. It simply means that you are moving on, but not forgetting. And you're moving towards something that you feel truly passionate about, that feels truly aligned to your purpose, to your mission, that is inspiring, that almost feels more fulfilling than whatever you were engaged with before. And that is because something within you has been awakened in this process. And it is even helping you move towards your destination a little bit more by reprioritizing what's important, by showing you what you value and what your value is, and allowing you to let go of what's really not fulfilling you anymore, so that you can open up courageously to what could be. So, my dear Soul Path 3, this is what I have for you today. Thank you for visiting and sharing your story with me. It was such a pleasure, and I wish you luck on your path ahead. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.